Hey guys, Dan Heilman back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the biggest job revision in the history of mankind. The last biggest one was 2009. We basically had 1 million jobs that were lost. If you haven't seen the news, basically we have the data coming from the government and they basically said, okay, here's the job for all the jobs that were added last year. It was like, I don't know, 2 million, and boom, they said, oh, we lost 1 million jobs, and it was the biggest revision in history since 2009. So let's talk about it. I had Grok just summarize it for me and kind of give me what it means for cryptocurrencies and the economy. So what we have is a significant downward revision. U.S. employers added 911,000 jobs, so pretty insane, less than they thought over the last 12 months, which was April 2024 through March 2025. This trims the prior estimate of about 1.79 million jobs down to roughly 878,000, so pretty insane, reducing the average monthly job growth by about 76,000, the largest percentage revision since 2009. So I think this one was slightly larger than 2009, occurring during what appears to be an economic turning point with cooling labor market. So yeah, as we said, the Fed is considering cuts more and more often because of the cooling labor market. I work in manufacturing and I've seen the same thing. A lot of the big companies are laying off, and their jobs are a lot harder. I also saw someone say that, for the first time in a very long time, maybe even ever, there is more people looking for jobs than positions open everywhere in the United States. So that's pretty insane. Underscores a softer labor market than headlines suggested earlier in the year. Okay, so implications for cryptocurrency this year. This revision paints a picture of the U.S. economy that's resilient but cooling faster than anticipated, which could have bullish undertones for cryptocurrencies for the remaining of this year. Again, I think we're getting near the end of this bull market. We've been in a bull market since for years now, 3 years now almost. And usually what happens is these bull markets last for about 3 years, and then you get about a 1-year bear market, usually in these big recessions that happen pretty common. They're pretty common for our economy. So Fed policy boost. A weaker labor picture increases the likelihood that we have additional rate cuts. Okay, we'll go look at that in a second here. But lower rates reduce the opportunity cost of holding non-yielding assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Because when you have, bonds and stuff like that, they pay out less when the interest rates get cut. There's more liquidity in the system because people can borrow money cheaper. Says short-term volatility, long-term positive. Okay, so that's what they're thinking here. Bitcoin role as digital gold. Crypto isn't isolated from the macro trends, but its decoupling from traditional markets has strengthened. And here we go. Financial stimulus coming into and could amplify the upside. So we have, some other data coming, like CPI data coming. I think that's tomorrow. Is that tomorrow? When is CPI data coming? So we have annual revision. There we go. So previous was minus 818. This is in thousands. And we got 911. PPI coming. Is that tomorrow? I think that's tomorrow. So what's today? What day is it? 9th, 10th. Okay, so tomorrow we have PPI coming, and then we have a bunch of core inflation coming on 9/11, which is Thursday. So 2 more days, we get a bunch of this, and we'll see what happens here. Today's been quite volatile. I had a bunch of leverage trades open on Bitunix. So if you do want to try any leverage trading or even buying spot, I have an affiliate link below. But I had a bunch way in the profit this morning. And then as soon as this news came, it dumped everything really quickly. I had really tight stop losses because I kind of had a feeling that we might get a big dump. So I got all my stop losses ran. But we had a good trade on Crow and some others this morning. So again, affiliate link below if you want to try it. I'm a huge fan of Bitunix. It's been a really good exchange to trade on, and it's pretty much legal everywhere. So Bitcoin, big dump. Again, this is like the 4th time that we've tried to break out of this. And honestly, it looks like we have a big head and shoulders right here. So if you do this, it looks like we have basically at this, literally my long entry. So I longed at a pullback right here. I was way in the profit, should have closed it. And then we basically pulled back and we've literally rejected off my entry multiple times, but you have something like this right here. It looks like a big head and shoulders. So it looked like it was going to break out. Another fun fact is usually the fourth time trying to break a resistance or support line, it usually breaks. So we have 1 try, 2 try, 3 try, and the next time I think we might actually break this because we do have a couple different things happening. We have a CME gap up top. We have a bunch of liquidity up top. So if we go to liquidation heat maps, I do think we're going to see some pumps here. I never finished I wanted to talk about the SOM recession rule. So this is a indicator that shows kind of, that we're going into a recession, and it's fairly early for triggering. A lot of recession indicators happen after the fact. And when they say we're in a recession, they'll paint it, starting maybe even a year ago. But fun fact is this triggered on August 1st of 2024. And then Sam, the person who made this rule, came out and said, oh, I don't know that this is, this one counts, or maybe this isn't real, blah, 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 blah. But look at the recession is these gray bars here. And every time this is triggered, we've been in a recession. So I think we've actually been in a recession for basically a year now, which is probably good because usually, it kind of gives us an indicator of where we are. But if this is true, that means we're mostly done with the recession, right? Because now we're going to start getting rate cuts. The markets could drop next year. And that's kind of my base case is the markets, including Bitcoin, stocks, everything. But if you look at stocks today, crypto stocks are freaking mooning. Look at this. Bitfarms is up freaking 24% today. So the market seems to not care at all about this. SPY is up today, only 0.2%, but still with how bad that revision is, look at a lot of these Bitcoin mining stocks. HUT up 13% today. Cypher up 17% today. Zone, which is like a Dogecoin treasury company now, they just converted 29%. I entered at $3, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Earlier this morning I was up 69%. Mara is even seeing some love. Metaplanet has been getting destroyed. Probably a good time to enter right now. Wolf up 10%. Even Circle is up, which has just been bleeding. Luxfolio, Bitfarms up 24%. IREN up 14%. So a lot of these Bitcoin mining stocks are just going vertical. And usually, in my opinion, this means that we're about to see a big run for Bitcoin. Everyone has been super bearish on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Everyone says the top's in. Yeah, I think we're getting close to the top, but I don't think the top's in. And I think all of these crypto mining and treasury companies, look at Riot just ripping. Look at that huge green bar. I think they're sniffing out a big move coming soon. And I was talking about the bull moon, people, one person, a couple of people kind of laugh about the bull moon, but obviously I don't use it to trade. But if I have other confluence with other indicators telling me to take a long and we have a bull moon coming, I think we're gonna see some big pumps. And obviously Bitcoin has been falling for, a month almost, right? So we've seen a month pullback here. We retested the bull market support band, which is huge support. And the Camel Finance indicator is telling me, that the bottom is in at about 107.5. Look at Ethereum. It actually picked one a couple of days ago as well. Today, obviously not looking super good for Ethereum. And we could even see a pullback to this wedge we broke out of, a higher low and a big move up. Okay. This would still keep this intact. It does say low confidence on this one though. But a lot of other cryptocurrencies, as I mentioned yesterday, are doing really good, especially against Ethereum. A lot of others, all the other coins that are doing very good even against Ethereum. Ethereum's been running really hard. Solana's starting to take up, and Crow has seen some really good pumps. And I think a lot of these coins are going to make some big moves in September because everyone's bearish. Everyone's been saying September is going to be a red month. It has to be a red month. But now we have rate cuts coming. We even have even more rate cuts that are going to be coming here. So if I go to the Fed Watch tool, September, it's 100% guaranteed we get rate cuts. That's what this says. Anything above 95%, this says 92%, but that's because there's a chance that we get actually a 0.5% rate cut instead of a 0.25. So this is a 0.25 right here because we're currently at 4.25 to 4.5% is the current target is currently what we're at, and it's saying, you know, going down to 4 to 4.25. And then if we go out to December, I mean, we're looking at almost a 1% cut. We have a 5% chance of getting a full 1% interest rate cut. So clearly, rate cuts are being factored in. That's why the market did not care about this today. Gold continuing to make some new all-time highs. Actually pulled back a little bit today, which is kind of funny. Is this right when this happened? Was this, no, this was just a couple hours ago. No, yeah, this was the 10 o'clock announcement. Okay, so gold even pulled back because, you know, the Fed is they have two things that they need to do. They need to make sure that the employment market is okay, and they need to reduce inflation. And they've kind of said there's not much we can do about inflation, and people kind of see that now. And they're basically saying we need to save the labor market and we need to do rate cuts. I don't know. I don't really understand the 100% like companies are like, oh yeah, the interest rates are lower, so that means that we're going to go hire more people. I don't really understand that. I'm not an economist, but apparently, you know, cutting rates is better. Maybe just because businesses can take out more loans to increase business. Maybe that's all it's related to. But yeah, gold, a little bit of a pullback while all the other markets are very, very bullish. Stocks are doing great on this news. Really did not care at all. I do think we will still get maybe some sort of a pullback, maybe the end of this month. I don't know. We'll see for stocks. I think Bitcoin is definitely going to make some big moves coming up this month. I think we're definitely going to come up and at least get up into, I think we're at least coming into this 120,000. There's a lot of liquidity. That was something else I was going to look at. There's a lot of liquidity if you zoom out on the higher time frames. If you go to like the 1 week, 2 week here, let's see. There's a bunch up here at 114, which needs to be taken because a lot of people are short. If I go to the liquidation map, this one shows it a little bit better. So here's all of the exchanges. You can see there's a bunch of liquidity even up here at 114. But if I go to like the 30-day, look at all this liquidity. $20 billion if we go to 124,000 right there. 124,000, $20 billion of liquidated shorts. If you look on the long side, there's only 10 billion. So there's double the amount of shorts as longs right now. And even if we just go to like 120, if we were just to pump to 120, that is $16 billion of liquidation. So I think we're easily going to move into this 114, 300 range easily. You know, the price goes like a heat-seeking missile right into liquidity. Call it market manipulation from market makers, but the price always goes right to the liquidity. And you can see blatantly from this map, there's a lot more to the upside than there is to the downside. So that's what we got going on. I think the price is going to continue to go up, and even more now that I saw the reaction from the markets today, where SPY is up literally 0.2%. Could care less. So on the 1 hour chart, here's 9:30. It came out about 10. It actually dumped before this announcement, which is kind of funny. And then it basically just leveled up and went right back up. Didn't even care. So clearly doesn't care too much about that. And treasury companies are ripping. They're ripping. Look at these, just breaking out of nowhere. So treasury companies, you know, Bitcoin, mining, treasury, all of that is definitely pumping. Another one, MEIP, if you guys are looking for an entry on something, it's a pharmaceutical company that also buys Litecoin as their treasury. It's kind of funny, but they had a massive gap down today. And usually these big gaps get filled. So if you're looking to enter some stocks, I think this is a good one. Some drug they tested, and the initial trials didn't go very well today. So the stock dumped freaking 30% or something on the open. Yeah, 33%. So I think this would be a good one to accumulate. I had some at a higher price and I just doubled down on it. I think it'd be a good entry. There's a lot of these that I think are going to do very well. The other one that I've been buying is Luxfolio, another Litecoin. You know me, I'm super bullish on Litecoin. I actually just opened up a fairly large Litecoin leverage position as well because on this pullback, I was kind of waiting for a little bit of a pullback here. So we got a little bit of a pullback and I entered. This is no longer my entry because I got stopped out, but then I re-entered, doubled down at a lower price. So That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That's what we got going on today. That's why we saw a lot of volatility. I think we'll still continue to see a lot of volatility until we get the Fed meeting on the 17th. So I think we'll still get volatility, but I think the direction is going to be up. I think we're going to see some up direction between now and then. We might even see a pullback here, or we could just continue to go up. So we'll see what happens, but this looks like a bottom formation to me. You can see we had this falling wedge. It's rolling over. We had the head and shoulders I was talking about. I think the low's in. I think the low's in. Only time will tell, but I think the low's in, and I think we're going to see a pretty good September. So that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Have a great day, everyone. If you are enjoying the content, feel free to use any of the affiliate links below. Leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel if you're not. It really helps out my small channel here. And that's it for the video. Have a great day, everyone. See you guys.